So, was Tesla's Robotaxi launch last week a scam? Those are the thoughts of Michael Spencer, who has this Substack AI Supremacy. I think this is the first time he's talked about this. He says Tesla's Robotaxi launch was a scam and Tesla's decline is now inevitable, he thinks, with a highly problematic Robotaxi launch muddled with errors and safety concerns. I'm going to put a link to this article. I'm not going to put it all here, but I will react to some of it, give my thoughts on it. But these are the things that he is saying. Something has been eating at me for quite some time, he says, as it has for a lot of us, I think. The false promises of Elon Musk. I'll try and be brief today to share some of my concerns. Well, it's not exactly a brief article. As I said, I'll put a link to it. It's quite long, but I've got some of it here. In the realm of applied artificial intelligence, I've been closely following the evolution of autonomous vehicles, or AVs, that have been slow to manifest on public roads. Tesla was often heralded as a darling of this technology, and its stock valued at way higher multiples based on speculative promises of robotaxis and humanoid robots. More on that stock price currently in a minute. But what happens when Elon Musk promises are demonstrated in an actual Austin, Texas launch? And I've shown plenty of videos of the errors, and he does talk about this, about how it went. We can reflect on it now. Elon Musk first announced Tesla's Robotaxi plan publicly as far back as April 2019, and this is an image from that Autonomy Day where he talked about it. During Tesla's Autonomy Day event, more than 6 years later, Tesla finally launched its program in Austin earlier in June, just a week ago. But what it demonstrated is a shocking testament to the failure of Tesla's approach, he says. Waymo's self-driving pilot program began testing fully autonomous vehicles in Phoenix, Arizona in 2016. And this is something that I've been talking about too. Waymo being on the roads, having 10 million paid rides by now. They really have solved autonomy, although Tesla has been in the limelight because of this, but they are struggling, it has to be said. This means Tesla is functionally almost a decade behind not just Waymo, but Baidu's Apollo program that's in China, if you don't know, and probably Amazon's too. Waymo began offering fully autonomous rides to the public in October 2020 in Phoenix, Arizona. Tesla had decided that cameras and computer vision were all you need, but is that holding true all these years and promises later? And you remember back then there was talk of 1 million Tesla robotaxis on the road by 2020. Ark Invest said that. Kathy Wood and Elon agreed with it. Never happened. Tesla's Robotaxi launch comes 5 long years after Waymo. Tesla's Robotaxi program was dubbed the future of autonomy, but is it, he asks. Tesla's long-awaited launch of its Robotaxi requires a lot of qualifiers. It was supervised and open to only a few invitees and included somewhere between just 10 and 20 vehicles, which is a tiny sample that was cherry picked. That is, we didn't even witness true autonomous vehicles, and there were multiple snags. And this image here is of Waymo many years ago now. It's just starting off in Phoenix, Arizona. So they've been on the roads with no major accidents, no fatalities in that time, with a huge amount of rides under their belt at this point. And Tesla's just starting out now, despite all the rhetoric from Elon for years and years. Tesla's Robotaxi rollout has been rockier than the fanboys and influencers who got early access to the company's driverless vehicles would like you to believe. That's a quote from The Verge. Most of Tesla's fans and influencers who've received invites to test it out said the experience was smooth and natural, and I've shown videos of that of Farzad and Omar Kazi and all those other influencers who were invited, and they're never going to say a bad word about it. Some of the errors did show up in the videos. It's a very poor sign for a stock that many analysts believe is drastically overvalued. With declining sales in Europe and China in 2025, it's fairly clear Chinese EV makers have overtaken Tesla. We've seen that in some of the sales results, really intense competition in China. European sales down, I think, largely, in my opinion, because of Elon's politics, what he was doing in Europe and in the US. Europe did not like it. He drove away his core market there. And now we have this robotaxi launch after many years. So I'm not going to read all this, but he says no lidar, big problems. And there you see that the Waymo car there has many sensors, lidar, camera, radar, and Tesla's going with the camera and AI solution only. He says Tesla's decision to forego either sensors or LiDAR rigs to accomplish their self driving deployment looks to be a dramatic mistake in cost cutting. Meanwhile, Tesla vehicles have dropped in sales for a fifth consecutive month in Europe. I'm going to do a separate video about that, about the numbers starting to come in. And having said that, I will be taking a break. This is probably a good time to say that. I'll probably do a video tomorrow if I've got time, but I'm going to have a full week off with the family about my 6 monthly breaks. To avoid burnout, because I'm doing videos pretty much 5 days a week, so need a bit of a break every so often. Now, it took years for Waymo, pretty much a decade of testing and pilots to get to the point where it's almost ready to go to New York. They want to go into New York. They're also testing. It looks like there's a photo from Tokyo of testing, so they're going to go international there. Waymo is, of course, the spin out from Alphabet and is taking its first crack at New York City, filing a permit for autonomous vehicle testing. And Google, Alphabet has really deep pockets, so you think they could fund this for a long time. They have been funding it for a long time, whereas really a lot of Tesla's market cap is riding on this. The over $1 trillion market cap is riding on this. Not so for Google. They've got a lot of things going on. This is one of their other bets, which seems to be starting to pay off, if not profitably. It's definitely been successful, the technology. So Tesla's robotaxis still aren't ready for the mainstream, he says. Being such a controversial stock, a lot of analysts are on the take. But thanks to these diligent Redditors, we now have a list of all the mistakes that companies' unsupervised vehicles have made in the past couple of days. And I've got videos of most of these. If you go back on the past few videos I've made, these clips, I'm not going to play them again, but if you go through that, you'll find all of the clips, starting with robotaxi drives into oncoming lane. Rider presses pull over, robotaxi stops in the middle of an intersection. I did show that. Well, not the middle, sort of, it was blocking a lane though. So he's got 12 mistakes there. And this was just in the first couple of days, really 3 days of operation in Austin, that this was revealed. And this is from influencers who did video their rides, but probably some were edited out, I think. But there were multiple errors there, considering they've been doing this for so long. And this is what they've come up with. After years of promising by Elon Musk, Tesla looks like it simply hasn't executed on AVs. I don't know how the robotaxi program can now be saved, he says, just as it starts off, much less scaled with the quality of this launch. While the stock market hit nearly all-time highs once again in late June 2025, which is now, Tesla stock is still down 15% for the year. And I've got the graph here. I did a snapshot of it. It's down 14.63%. It's over the weekend. Remains to be seen what will happen on Monday. But, with this launch over the past month, it's down. He asks, should this be a $1 trillion company, a brand on the decline with an AV program that uses fundamentally the wrong technology? Oddly, it was hard to get decent media coverage of the Austin launch. That's because Tesla didn't allow journalists to do it, just the influencers. And Tesla keeps failing in Elon Musk's biggest promises. So this is going back years. There's plenty of clips which I've played before of him claiming things, projecting things, which they say the company says is corporate puffery rather than lies. But there's so many predictions and projections that have been wrong from Elon. There's a good reason nearly everyone experimenting with this tech went with lidar and not just cameras. Tesla's long awaited Robotaxi service finally launched in June 22nd in Austin. The results are as poor as you might have expected if you've been following the evidence and the limitations of camera over LiDAR approach, he says. Now, I've talked about this many times before, but he says, how can you trust Tesla's approach in fog, rain, or even with too much sunlight glare, which I've said is an ongoing problem? Kim Java there, I've shown that clip a few times where there was phantom braking and it looked like it was from sun glare. And there was also an instance after my last video where one of the influencers or one of their friends was in the car videoing and it stopped. It kicked them out into a park because it was going to rain, which did say when they started out in inclement weather, it might stop the service. And we're wondering what that is. And it was a threat of this rainstorm coming along and it stopped and got out. They did carry on later, a few minutes later, and it was the same Robotaxi, which was very strange. But that did happen, that it's kicked them out when it was about to rain. So that would say that Tesla's not incredibly confident when it's raining or with sun glare, obviously. It just doesn't make sense with the evidence obtained, even from this very controlled launch with mostly their own influences in Austin. Now, this image down here is from an investigation where sun glare was involved. This was unfortunately a fatal accident, and there was a driver supervising, but they obviously weren't paying attention. This person here is waving, and there was the crash just up there, killed somebody, and there's an ongoing case about that. So that was pretty tragic. And so that's an example of what looked like sun glare to be the problem, low sun. Tesla's horde of influencers. The sad part, he says, even who was allowed to join the launch was rigged. This kind and level of deception would only occur with fundamentally broken technology. The service is now limited to invited users who agree to the terms of Tesla's early access program. Those who have received invites are mostly promoters of Tesla's product stock and CEO. Now, I've noticed that a lot of those people have gone home now. They visited Austin. And the videos coming out of there have slowed down. I'm just wondering if it's actually still going or very limited, or it was just for that kind of 1 week or a few days of launch. So it will be interesting to see what happens from here. There was a Tesla delivered from the factory to a customer. They made a big show of that. They made a video about that. Now, Elon Musk's pattern of lies, he says. In 2015, Musk told shareholders Tesla cars would achieve full autonomy within 3 years. Now, I've had clips of these in my videos over time too, most of these things, if not all of them. In 2016, he said a Tesla EV would be able to make a cross-country drive without needing any human intervention before the end of 2017. Yes, I've got a clip of that. I'm not going to show it here to repeat it, but I've shown it many times. And in 2019, on a call with institutional investors that helped him raise more than $2 billion, Musk said Tesla would have 1 million Robotaxi vehicles on the road in 2020, able to complete 100 hours of driving work per week, each making money for their owners. So yes, he has talked about that for many years. Many, many years later, the situation has not considerably improved, he said. We are talking a full decade later. So, yes, it didn't start here. It just didn't start last week. This has been going on for a very long time with the promises and predictions from Elon, and they have not eventuated. He has staked the company on this, so it had better work properly. Loss of confidence in Tesla is a global phenomenon, he says. To make matters worse, Tesla's own autopilot and FSD systems have a very poor safety record with multiple accidents and deaths. Who would even buy a Tesla at this point in 2025? Well, not me, not me, I'll say that. He points out Tesla sales are down nearly everywhere in the world, including China and also in Europe, which is well documented. And it's going to be interesting to see the figures coming up for May and June and the coming quarters. There's a lot riding on these robotaxis now. He says in China, even tech companies like Xiaomi are turning heads compared to Tesla. This is an image of the new car. They revealed the YU7 SUV will cost less than Tesla Model Y. Will start at the equivalent of about $35,300. And apparently, they've received 200,000 orders within the first 3 minutes. I don't know how legit that is. Tesla got a lot of pre orders for its Cybertruck, and then people dropped back when the price came out. So, assuming that this is going to be the price, that is some intense competition in China building there. BYD as well is one of their, most intense competitors there. While Tesla only sold 8,600 vehicles in China during the first week of June, a significant drop from the previous week. Now, Elon Musk and sabotage of the Tesla brand. So, this is something that I've pointed out in my videos. I've documented all through Elon's politics and how that went with the protests, the boycotts of the brand, which people still want to do. A lot of people in the comments of my videos are still boycotting. I mean, I'm not buying a Tesla. I wouldn't ride in a Robotaxi, but I would ride in a Waymo because it looks safer. It seems a lot safer, or it's been proven to be safer. To say that Elon Musk's personal brand and his entry into politics and Doge and European political interference has hurt the Tesla brand and sales is also true. Yes, I agree. The stock has been propped up for years by a number of billionaire backers, and they have funded a toxic fanboy culture that is based on falsehoods and attacking critics. Over time, this begins to erode trust even further in the Tesla brand. I do think that too, that the fanboys and Tesla cult people do attack. They're willing to do anything to try and help Tesla along the way, attacking every critic, attacking anybody who asks questions. And even when somebody breaks ranks in those influencers, everybody attacks them. So there's infighting. And there's some about this launch too. They can't say a critical word, not one critical word about Tesla, or, they say you're a traitor and attack the person. It's pretty bad. So he says, so how do you recover from such a poor Robotaxi launch when you are even late to the party? The Austin Robotaxi event shows you how far Tesla still has to go to even compete with Waymo and others. And just as a reminder that Waymo is doing 250,000 paid rides per week now. More than that now, because that was a few weeks ago that they announced that over 10 million rides in total. I mean, they really are far ahead. But if you talk to Tesla influencers, they think that Tesla is way ahead, even though they just have this small bunch of influencers and they're really just testing there. It's not really a launch. They're just testing so far and trying to do these marketing events, delivering an autonomous taxi to a customer from the factory with a video, those sort of marketing things. But it's over time, it's over tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of miles that these things are proven out. And Tesla has not got a great record if you look at FSD supervised. So how will it go for non-supervised? It's still supervised with the safety monitor in the car at the moment, so they have got a long way to go. So what do you think about this? Do you think that Tesla will catch up? Do you agree with him that it's a total scam and that they really are far behind and the stock price is just being propped up? The company's being propped up by promises that they can't keep and half-baked technology. Let me know what you think in the comments. And right now I'm going to put a related video right there. Do go and see that now if you want to. And a subscribe link on screen as well. Do subscribe to follow along. I usually do these about 5 days a week. As I said, I'm going to have a week off. I'll probably do a video tomorrow and then a week off, and then I'll be back into it, recharged, refreshed. So thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.